Hi, YouTube. Me, Grim Zamir. Them, Seekers Galanti. This second wake, episode 77, or if you are Susan Wojcicki, season 2, episode 26. Please, algorithm, when I type in second wake, I would like it to be like Jesus, Jesus, church, something bad in the news, and then us. So if you could make that happen, I'd appreciate it. We were there for a while when we were in like episode 13, 14 of season 2. Very cool to see. I could just type in second wake without the Dungeons and the Dragons, and we popped up. So, you know, if anyone from YouTube is ever reviewing this content to see that it is not safe for children, hey, what's up? Hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to get a coffee. But let's talk about where we're at. When we last left our heroes, which means D&D has started according to Matt Colville, as we often say, or as I often say, the party had done away with the Mr. Tonton, or TT, as he is well known, the owner, operator, and chief financial officer of TT Holdings Incorporated. That's an LLC, actually, but still. He wants as little liability as possible. After defeating the evil, demonic Gnomish man, the group began to set upon the various treasures, secrets, and traps hidden within the offices of TT. We did a number of things in downtime, of which I will pull the curtain back for you, the viewing audience, not because you deserve it, but because I love you. So, you're welcome, but just know I'm watching, okay? Just know I'm watching as you watch me. It's an infinite layer of watching things. So, you're welcome. With that, the group uncovered a number of things. Piles of treasure, hundreds of pounds of platinum, gold, and silver trade bars, piles of gems, piles, like 18 gems. It's a lot of gems, but you know, it's not like a lot. It's just a good amount of gems. Pieces of art with different pieces of enchantment upon them. A bottle stopper cork that with it embossed with a gold leaf and set with amethyst that can purify foods and drinks of which it corks. An obsidian statuette of gold fittings and silver inlay. A number of things of the statuette that can allow it to become a bear. And very cool, kind of neat things. A silver-plated longsword that can be fitted with elemental gems to summon a blade of pure arcana. But of course, these are all boring things. Let's get to the juicy bits, like the enchanted bottle of wine that Celeste happened upon to find out that, yes, it is a prison, and yes, it is the drunk sea, and yes, you will die in this place if someone isn't there to pour you out. That's just a darn shame for Celeste, but don't worry, her batting average improved when they finally realized how to unlock TT's spell book, which is an amazing spell book. Upon reading it, of course, it does put you in a maze, zing, to which we saw a small downtime activity of Celeste, Morgan, and Velithil Downvey are all getting trapped within the pages of the amazing spell book. Through guile, risk, a little bit of gambling, and some stealth, and smarts, I would say, too, is up there, too. The three of them did manage to safely return after a few days spent within the maze itself, knowing deeply that there is both a guardian as well as several monsters that inhabit this otherworldly maze. And Celeste did find that there are even treasures buried within the maze for those who are foolhardy enough to venture against its various dangers. As always. We discovered a large box. I believe we did that at the end of the last episode. Very cool there. As well as in TT's office, his actual bedroom that was uncovered through manipulating the stone and granite marbled faces. Orville unlocked and allowed people to investigate the area. A number of strange, small, packed pieces of spell paper into a small folded area, packed with grave dust and various other strange arcane runes that have been yet to be identified in the traditional sense. Not the spell, but actually figuring out what the heck is going on. Otherwise, the group also uncovered a number of mimics within both the vault room as well as TT's personal bedroom, one of which is a small tome who has the lovely name of Grimory, because why not? Grimory is a one-eyed book mimic who has a penchant, we shall say, for eating and consuming magical material. You know, for this, I should just, as we're going through the treasure, I should just have a picture of treasure up so we know what we're about. Um, After trying to befriend this book, JJ then turned it over to Velithil, who then further attempted communication, and through a number of people getting involved. Celeste trying to deduce it, detective it. Bartholomew attempting to do his best to figure it out. Finally, it was realized that that books don't have ears. So if you yell at your book and you try to get it to talk to you back, books don't be having ears, yo. So you got to write down what you want to say to Grimoire, and Grimoire will read it or eat it and understand you either way. So yeah, TT Spellbook was long, extensive, and there are many things that any young wizard upon the world might find of interest in there, as well as a number of other arcane objects. More importantly, as the group began to decide about a number of things for the fate of Grim Village itself, the Seekers of Galanti have thusly decided to take over the small village of Grim and make it their own sort of profitable center of commerce. They have assigned one Eli Jennings as their chief technology officer, an old contact of Morgan Quinlan, who has for a long time stood as both a fence and confidant to the young rogue. As well, they spoke to George Creedy, who has now regained much of their previous lost memories, that they were only a passenger to a nightmare hellscape of a life they never lived, as their chief financial officer or CEO. I forget your title for him.
Chief Operating Officer.
COO, even better.
Mm-hmm.
With this being said, sounds pretty cool. Both have been given a salary, and for full disclosure, have been given a salary of honestly like right around 2.5 gold pieces per day each. Which this is a good lesson for folks who play in Dungeons and Dragons. If you're ever concerned so much about what you should pay an NPC, perhaps you should have a communicative speech with that NPC instead of, I don't know, I'm just going to throw out a spitball here, get so mad that an ex-druid might be useful to your tower you took over, and then complain that they won't just tell you the price. Maybe that's the thing. That is not directed at any one person here, but that's just an experience we can all agree could happen to any random dickhead. So with that being said, the group additionally met with Preeple, spoke and tried to make peace, was offered a settlement to allow the Seekers of Galanti to buy out Preeple's contracts, totaling into the amount of 125,000 gold pieces and 2 villas. In exchange, the cross scimitars will be the guardian force, as well as both for the roads as well as the village itself, for any ne'er-do-wells that might come to it. Preeple has, of course, promised with this price that there will be no crossed fingers or double crosses in this, and that she will not accept a buyout of a higher offer to betray the Seekers of Galanti. Of that, she has given her word. Additionally, after a bit of questioning from Preeple, she has been given two villas, and as well will cut the Seekers in on both the profitable hunting, trade, and road tolls to their flourishing little village. I mean, it's kind of being built more than a village at this point. The Seekers are still somewhat deciding with the fortune they have come into, as well as what to do with the various workers that they have. A workforce of 100 carpenters and craftsmen and women, as well as 50 different employees just for the casino itself. They've decided to put plans into motion and put forward an idea to create a stable so that they can offer a different amount of ranch tours and keep that still kind of southern hospitality all within the area. JJ returned to her mother, having re-delivered and returned back the order of whiskey and moonshine that was meant for Smokewatch, a military outpost that swears its allegiances to the various lords of the realm, overlooking the boundaries of Ottenham. And yes, that's kind of where we were at. I think, other than that, Cobalt Jones did, I think, 1 Googleplex of push-ups. I think that's what I wrote in my notes, which is a lot of push-ups, y'all. Look up what a Googleplex is. It's many, many zeros. It's a lot of them. The group did have...
I just want to, if I have a second, to... So it's really just totally week long. It's a montage of building a obstacle course with saw blades and swords and like moving parts,
Uh-huh.
and then him just like getting sweaty and running that for a week straight
Yeah, a
with
lot of
cool
people
action music.
concerned in the botanical garden after seeing saw blades installed next to like the rosalias. You
Oh yeah,
know,
for sure. And then
yeah,
also was not up to building code,
no, not
but
at
when
all.
someone came up to me, I was like, "Yo, I own this place, so I don't care.
That's true. That's true.
I
You're a
make the building
1/6
laws."
owner. That's pretty fair. With Grim Village as well, the Seekers have opened up the lands themselves and is attempting to make them available for rent for anyone who would like to move back in or anyone who's looking to build on the lands of Grim Village. So long as you rent out your land, you can build on top of the property and you'll have the assistance of a village, the protection of the cross scimitars, and of course, some of the best quality moonshine that you can hope to have in your given lifetime. So yes, that I think that's the long and short of everything that happened, if memory serves right. Um, I will full disclosure, the group made their decisions off even camera to me, as I was busy at a pre-release for a Sorcerers of the Sea event, if you will. And that's just how that goes. But with that being said, the Seekers of Galanti now meet again in the previous office, Mr. Tuan Tuan, having recently uncovered, and this is the kicker for it, the secret attic within the vault room of Mr. TT, an attic containing a number of strange and very peculiar devices, an old furnace with a number of molds for crafted and fitted gems, a trove of various compost piles and unmarked graves bearing crunchy pieces of what used to be people, a large mill and grinder seemingly able to fit multiple bodies in it at once, and a heavy collection of some of the purest and finest necromantic grave dust that any young necromancer or spellcaster might find of interest. Additionally, within this horrible little attic of itself, the group did finally come across the long lost brother of Corvus, who was still chained up and on death's door after informing people of such. She and her brother are finally reunited and slowly nursing him back to health. And at this point, a day having passed, over a week of in-game time now passed over the course of these many events, the group has been notified as they are meeting again in the office that Corvus has woken up, is feeling much better and able to answer questions whenever you guys are ready for that. But more importantly, Seekers of Belanti, as you find yourselves in the office of Mr. TT, already spending the last week training your bodies, your minds, preparing the village and town, and setting a number of plans into motion. What comes next? What is there to talk about? And what is there to do other than, of course, divvy up the loot, get a bunch of gold change and grills, whatever you want to do. You can put diamonds on your neck. Cobalt Jones could probably pay a halfling to hang from a chain around his neck. I once saw that in a ludicrous video, and I thought, wow, that is really ludicrous. And yeah, it was. That was the guy who was rapping, actually. But yes, what you guys would like to do is up to you. I'm loving that I popped Morgan with that. That makes me happy.
I mean, let's be real. If I paid the guy a gold a day, right, and he's like a farmer,
Yeah.
that's going to be like so much money to him, and that's nothing to me. And what is he going to last? Maybe 2 days tops.
I
I mean,
mean,
it would be pretty baller 2 days.
you could just be like, this is my human chain. This is my human. You just gotta have a
Got
really
like
strong neck.
it's like a 7 temp HP.
Yeah. The first 7 damage you take, you don't take. And then whatever your chain dies instead. It's awful. It's very inhumane, but you're not a humane, so
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
halfling. I
Yeah,
mean,
of course, yeah. No worries. But in the office of Mr. Tuan Tuan, what is it that you guys hope to do? You know that George and Eli have already shown up for work. Eli has already fixed a number of machines so that their payouts are in a more fair fashion. Much of the staff has been informed that they are not to bottom deal anymore and make sure that chance odds at the card tables are a bit better for those who are in attendance. And overall clean up the act, as the Seekers did not want to be involved in any illicit activities, at least on the surface. With this, George has taken to making sure that everyone is as comfortable as possible, and much of your current staff and functioning staff at that are feeling a bit better about how things are run. There's a lot less fear in the wrath of TT. As there is for the very welcoming and respectful nature of the various folks. A number of employees have actually voiced an opinion to attempt to buy land here when they finally can afford it on their meager salaries. But yes, things seem good for the time being. But Seekers, what good is good? Please, take it away.
I think we still have a few things to handle. Um, we have the discussion of sending some workers down to Deerwood. Is everyone still in favor of that?
Yeah, I definitely am down to send some workers down that way. I think we told Miss Galante we would if we could, right? Or find ways to help.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are we thinking about? 25 of them?
That sounds. I think that was one of the things suggested. Yes, 25 there, and then we can split the rest between finishing the construction in town and starting the new construction as well. If everyone's all right with that.
One other thing with the construction here, can we make sure they stop implementing those arcane stones? I don't know if there would be anything that would happen from that being finished, but I don't think we want that to be finished.
No, it was mostly just to finish out the villas that are in progress. I think there's 4 more that need to be built.
Yeah. Let's just make sure they know that. Sorry, I haven't been communicating with the workforce much. I've been a little focused on Grimmery, but um, yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. We can ensure that that is a thing. I know that I would like to have a couple of words with Corvus.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, was there anything else that we wanted to accomplish? I think Jonesy had said he wants some help with that armor.
Yeah, we
You're
can do that
looking a
if you
little
want.
pale. Looking a little pale, bud.
Yeah, this isn't just the normal poop sweats. This is something else.
Speaking of poop sweats, does that mean that you can't take off your pants in order to go poop? How does that work? Because technically you're stuck in there, right?
Did you forget the river?
I mean,
No, you haven't.
don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
I went. Charles and I spent the day floating in that bad boy.
That was the pool. Wait, Jones, did you go in the...
Oh no.
Look, I would never wash my butt in the pool, okay? I've sweated all out. It's all good.
I just vividly have a picture in my head of Bartholomew crying that there's a Twinkie or like a candy bar in the pool. Big old net.
Why? Why is it always every time we start an episode, it's always shit. It's always shit.
That's how we start and end these, baby.
You take a dump, you gotta leave with a dump.
I just never want you to become too comfortable over there, so I gotta bring it up.
Okay, yeah, so we'll organize to have 25 workers sent down to Deerwood to go and follow the instruction of Lady Galante and what needs to be worked on, basically, I think. I was thinking about sending some funds, but I think I've already rethought that. I don't think I'm going to right now.
Is there a reasonable amount of money that we can discern that Lady Galante would have wanted to get things up and running? I'm sure that there's a point in which it just gets into the reserve instead of like being immediately helpful.
Mhm.
Is there any way that we could discern what that approximate value might be?
Sure. You know that based off the workers here, having the staff available obviously very important. But you can kind of surmise a goal number based off of now knowing what a workforce is expected, overnights, the timetables for repairs. You know, for the most part, that the major sections of the city are fine. It's just the meeting centers that are mostly destroyed. Much of the church lands are fine. The docks are completely in ruins, which is the primary import export out of Deerwood, is those riverside docks that can travel throughout the earth itself. And with that as well, you know that a number of the kind of epicentered areas definitely took the largest amount of impact. If you'd like, you can go ahead and roll insight at advantage, as you have plenty of time to kind of think this over and come up with your approximation as you're kind of running through the old card of like collateral damage. You're playing the insurance agent, selling volcano insurance.
All right, 22.
A 22. All right. With a 22, I feel like you have a pretty good idea for what you're kind of looking for. At this point, you would assume at most you're looking at probably like 3, maybe 4 months of repairs if you can get 100 workers to the city, right? 3, 4 months with 100 folks. In total, the gold value of that would be in the range of about 25 to 27,000 gold in cost, like just in salary. That's not in building materials or lumber. So you're looking at about 27,000 just in people, right? And then you're probably looking at about another 50,000 gold in actual getting lumber, getting stone, getting all of the nails, bolts, and nuts you'll need to fix the city. So inside of about 75 grand, give or take, provided you can find the people that want to work, and provided that you can find the materials to ship to the city, because that's the other problem. With their importing, their major port being destroyed, it's slowing down any shipment they can have, and what can be teleported over is in very limited supply. So they're kind of repurposing broken buildings out of, hey, this beam's kind of still together. Let's put that together. We're gonna have people cast mending on this for 10 hours straight. So those would probably be your gold numbers. About 100 workers would probably be very helpful. 75,000 gold, and with that, 50,000 of that gold being in material goods, stone, wood, nails, metals, anything that can be worked and crafted into new buildings and repairs for the city. Mind of Kobold Jones is but a steel trap for accounting. Got a CPA
Yes.
license.
Before I was a doctor.
Before
I
I
was an
was
accountant.
a certified public accountant.
Yes.
When he was
Um,
fresh out of the egg, already accounting.
I'll put on my visor and I'll run the numbers in front of everyone and give them all the information.
Full Jim Carrey in the mask. Yeah.
Who knew that math was just wisdom?
Mm-hmm. Who knew? I mean, realistically, it's wisdom and memorization. That's about it. Memorization to know how to do the formula. Wisdom to know what formula to use when you need it. That's all it is. That's it, folks. Get your mental stats in order. Charisma's for suckers. Talking to people, it's the worst.
Screw that.
Why talk when I have strength? But yeah, you come to that assumption. I assume you let the group know.
Yeah. With the whole outfit.
Mhm.
That I probably shook down some employee, whoever's the current financial person for the place.
Oh yeah. No, there's more than
Some other
likely.
gnome or something.
No, there's probably. I mean, you're talking accountants, so yeah, it's definitely like a dwarf or a gnome that you shook down. More than likely a gnome. One of the gnomes that kind of like counts the money. He's like in the back room. He's in the cage, as they like to say. It's a casino term. Yeah, one of the counters is putting in stacks of coins and rolling it into 100 count rolls. You're just like, I need your visor, your gloves, and your little vest thingy. It's like, what?
Yeah. And then I brought it back. It was
Yeah,
all sweaty and poopy, but
that's fine. It's like I assume it's all stretched out because you're putting it over your armor you can't take off. So
Yeah. And while I'm eating, of course, it's just like
Ah.
everything's like scrunched up, and it just makes me look extra thick.
I have the mental image of Josh from Make Some Noise with the big businessman who goes, "Okay, so let's go.
Exactly.
Not hiring me would be really bad." Oh. But yeah, you guys have those numbers. Anything else you guys want to do before you set off on speaking to Corvus and a few other things to tie up things? Tie up stuff?
Do we want to do the remove curse thing?
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure we were good with what we were sending to Deerwood right now.
25 peeps that you are paying for.
Awesome.
You may mark it
So
down.
yeah, let's see if your ghost gets upset.
Hey, Orville, you might need to be around just in case shit pops off. You can pop him
I could see him and I punch him.
on sight.
Yeah.
Sight. Yeah, I mean, as you pull up your little blindfold and peer into the ethereal, you see this very grumpy looking, big old bushy beard, mohawk out dwarf who's just sitting there like slinging curses and mouthing bad words at Kobold Jones.
All right. We'll go over and tap the armor and cast Remove Curse.
You cast Remove Curse. You feel a pulse of semi-necrotic energy wash over the front of you, Kobold Jones. There's a bit of purity in it. You can feel a shifting of the front plate, the breastplate of your plate mail. And then you hear tunk, and the front of it falls off completely. The back falls off. The arms slide off. And you can remove the coil and coif at your leisure. But yeah, armor comes right off.
Oh God, the smell! Mm.
Oh yeah, no. It's like feet wrapped in bacon.
That is a unique smell.
Very unique film. You ever been in a gym and you have that like day old Axe body spray? Kind of smells like Burger King. I assume that's the smell.
Yeah. And the worst part is it's mostly the feet, and I wasn't wearing shoes.
Oh yeah. No underwear under there either, I'm sure.
They could have been cleaned at any time, but
Yeah.
just still didn't.
Yeah, a very dressed down Kobold Jones with a sweat soaked through tunic is all you have
No.
before you at this point.
Let me rephrase because
okay.
I got eaten.
Oh, you did get
So
eaten.
I'm butt ass naked.
Oh, jeez.
Like we didn't stop and get clothes. So just letting it all hang out right now.
Goodness gracious.
I thought this was
DM,
after that. I thought you got it after we came
Yeah.
back.
Yes, Orville.
can I make a con
Maybe.
save for the smell?
You can opt to fail if you'd like to throw up on this nice floor.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. You don't need an
Yeah,
excuse
okay.
to throw up for that. That's fine.
Alright.
Orville
Gonna-
tosses his very exquisite and expensive lunch.
Jones, I was examining bits of corpses in the torture room. I mean, the happy fun room. And this smell is so much worse. Kudos is what I'm saying. Like, impressive.
Hmm. I can't smell it, so
He's nose deaf.
You know, I was starting to tell people that we weren't stinky, but I think Kobold Jones has enough stink to make us permeate.
I mean I've thought it was a compliment this whole time. The stinkers Ugulante. I always thought that was in like I don't know, like an honorable title.
Right.
So
Anyway.
Jones, what do you want to do? Do you want to try and get some other armor, or?
Well, I got this stupid half plate that I've been lugging around this whole time, so I'm probably just gonna put this on for now. And then if we ever show up at the dwarven place, I'll ask someone that knows something over there.
I think we'll probably be heading there next. Colt's boat is out, so the river's not exactly an option right now. The beetle's ready though. It's been a week.
This is true. This is true.
There isn't anything else. we can go see how Corvus is.
Definitely. Y'all can definitely be there if you want. I won't make anyone be in there, but it's
So
just
you-
a couple of questions, to be
you-
honest.
You won't mind if I hold back, like just stay out here.
Oh no, honestly, I just want
Okay.
clarity at this point. Look, the kind of shape that Corvus was in as well, and just the various things that I've seen around, for lack of a better term, this facility, this place, and what happened with George for so long. I don't know who's right and who's wrong. You know, I don't know if he did it under mind control or what. I just want clarity. Got the big guy already. That's all. So
Yeah, I think I'll stay out here and hang out with Professor Pickles if that's okay.
Professor
Sparkles.
I'm sorry, who now?
Sparkles. I didn't. Professor Pickles is a cat. It's not. It's a
10 out of 10.
Professor Pickles Sparkles.
no. Wait. Professor Pickles is like my sister's cat.
I know Professor Pickles. I work with her sister.
Okay.
So, Professor Sparkles Pickles is the full name of your horse when it's at full size?
It's PSP. So you can go pss, pss, pss. That summons the horse.
Nice. Yeah, I went to school with them.
Yeah.
You're welcome to stay with Sparkly Pickles. JJ, I would appreciate joining in this. I have a lot of theories about several of the things that TT appeared to be working on, but some of it's a bit over my head, and I'm trying to piece it together. So hearing what Corvus has to say might help.
Definitely. George also might be a good person to ask, because George was the one who even showed me that extra room existed. But to be honest, when we were down there, I think that George was also tortured, or, you know, that's where the mind control kind of took root.
Strange, because I rather assumed that TT had modified memories,
Mm-hmm.
but Grimory doesn't even have that spell in it.
You know what they say when you assume, Belle.
I'm right?
Nope.
Oh.
Hardly ever.
Oh. Ow. Oh, sorry.
When you assume, it's always a shart.
That's
That's a kobold saying or a dwarf saying? I don't know
Nope,
that one.
that's definitely a saying.
Oh,
Just
wow.
a saying. Yeah.
I'll put that one to memory.
Mm-hmm.
I will also commit that one too. That was
You guys don't know that one?
I maybe like regionally. I think my mama used to say,
Never trust a
when
fart?
you. Well, that too. However,
Why is this?
when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me.
No,
But I
Oh.
kind
I
of
don't-
like
I
the
don't like that
shart
one.
thing. I kind of
But
do
I wasn't
like the
involving
shart
anyone
thing.
else, so I was just making an ass of myself.
But anyways, it's
Yeah.
just a saying. It's
Huh.
fine. Now, okay, so you want to come along. Does anyone else want to speak to this fella or Preeple for any reason? I'm going to assume she's going to be in there with her brother.
I think I'm good to stay in here.
Miss JJ, didn't you just say something about assuming?
I know. Leave me be.
Very well.
Do as I say, not as I do. All right. So Vel and JJ will head off to the small infirmary room where Corvus and his sister Preple are being kept and monitored at this point. For the rest of you, be thinking about what you'd like to do. We'll come back to you guys after this meeting. That way, you have a good idea if there's something you want to get done. All right. So, the pair of you use the key ring, summon up a door, exit the office, and immediately into the room you intend to be in. You look in, in a long bed, pillows up over his back, slowly sipping on juice at this point, and kind of like these kind of more sugary types of drinks, things that have a lot of calories, as we recently learned about, of course. You do see a tall purple tiefling man who has been slightly tended to. A number of gashes and wounds have been bandaged and finally remedied with various medications and herbal treatments. You look across and you can also see his sister at his bedside, and overall just caring to him as best as she is able. Upon entering the room, you can see he kind of has a semblance of recognition to the group, the pair of you at the very least. And he kind of coughs up with a smile and looks over, and you hear, "So, guess this is a little bit different than visiting your house. Sorry."
It is quite a bit different. So I will take it that was you
Oh,
that
yeah.
did indeed visit. All right. That's the main question I had. Now, I suppose my other question would be, did you do it on your own volition? Or was it coerced in any sort of means of way?
I did not, how to say, mean your father any harm. No, the task that I was given on behalf of Tuan was to deliver a message to your father. A sort of package, small parcel, that he would know what it meant when he opened it. After giving it to him, it reacted when it was opened in a very unforeseen way that I was not made aware of. Sorry. After seeing what it did to him, the screaming, the yelling, the slow death that followed, I knew there would be hell to pay, especially considering the sort of, well, line of work that you find yourself in. So I used my dagger, as I knew that at the very least, when I went to ground, my sister would know that something was amiss. And, well, that was my plan. I didn't foresee that to be my last mission, or assumedly so.
Does he also seem to be a straight shooter like Preple?
Go ahead and give me an insight check. That is 100% what insight's for.
12.
12. The feeling you get in piecing together the information you have from Preple is above all honorable. She has her own tenets. She follows her own rule of law. And more or less, if she says something and there is money exchange, you can almost bet your dollar on it. Like, you can guarantee it. Corvus, on the other hand, seems to be a person who is very easily swayed by large sums of money and promises of a better life. The kind of feeling you get from his mannerisms and the like is very guilty, but it's not mournful or regretful. There is true honesty in him describing, that he didn't expect your father to die in this instance. But there's not like a, I'm sorry about your loss or any of that stuff. It's again, for him, it's business and it was a job. You don't get the feeling of knowing whether he's a straight shooter or he's a snake. But at least in his mannerisms, you can see there is a fair difference between him and his sister.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate at least what seems like honesty. And I do know it was just a job. But you did take my father away. In some sort of means, but we've already dealt with TT. Now, your sister gave me a bit of advice to rather go for the head, and that folks sometimes are just tools. So, I'm going to personally offer you a means to an end, perhaps. You can either stay here and work with your sister or find some work somewhere in Grim Village. Or I'll give you the same choice that my uncle had, and that would be to go on, find your own way. But I know that I don't think it's right just to take your life or do anything like that. And I feel like there's some promise there.
There is, thanks in sparing me, I suppose. My life, what it is that I have. It's a curious situation to consider, truly, as it is. I do not do well in captivity. The camp, the cross scimitars, they are nice for my sister. And he kind of like pats Preeple's hands. Because that has never been my calling. I've always wanted things far beyond my reach. Might I put a proposition on the table for you? If you will hear it, of course, eh?
Preeple knows I'm always up for a little bit of conversation about options.
Very
Go
good.
ahead.
It seems to me that you all have quite a remarkable number of enemies. And growing steadily still. There are a number of things that I'm sure you cannot address, and a number of conflicts that you are not aware are still after you. My trade has always been espionage. Whether it be reducing the value of farmland, beating someone so that they seize the right way of investment, or otherwise dealing with political figures in a more permanent message. I would happily turn my blade so that you may wield it from the handle, if you understand my meaning.
I do. It's a very interesting proposition. I think that's something that we would have to discuss as a team. Now, I also know that y'all come prepared. Do you have a rate?
He again looks to Preeple, and she kind of like gives this almost like knowing look, this glance, and you know that it's kind of well trained. Neither of you are trained in thieves' cant, so you can understand they're almost silently communicating in this instance. But he turns back and he goes, I would of course open my services with consideration for everything that you have done for both myself and my sister. I would offer you friend rates or wet work. Say cost of supplies plus 10,000 gold pieces to give me a name and have that name never be uttered again. Fairly affordable. Of course, there could be complications, in which case we can negotiate afterwards. I do understand you have a rather powerful foe in the media that would be exponentially more expensive to deal with.
You know, each day I kind of wonder where that person sits.
Hmm.
But an interesting rate, for sure.
At the very least, if there are things that you need to be sought to, people who need to be found, or perhaps information gathered, you would do well to have a capable individual such as myself in your employ, I think. My sister can only guard this plot of land. Having a blade in the field is much more useful than a sword in the scabbard.
Ms. Vel.
I very much so agree with him at this state. I don't think we have anyone whose head we want removed at this time, but
That is curious.
there's... It is?
Well, and he looks to Preepole, and she kind of nods. And he looks back to you and goes, I can think of at least 2 men whose heads I think you would pay handsomely for. Apologies from the forwardness, of course, yeah?
Feign ignorance and curiosity of who you might be suggesting.
Oh, I would never suggest such a thing in pleasant company. Just to say is that there are definitely some individuals who the world might be better off without. Or at the very least, make you happy to see gone and never have to hear from again. People who have taken perhaps your name from you. So you can see my services are very useful for a number of minor things that otherwise would need to be done without the eye of your media friend to report on. Something quiet and quick. Doesn't have to be wet work per se, but anything you might need done. A scout is always useful.
Quite.
Right indeed.
Can I ask you something?
Please.
The package you delivered to Father Lightning, could you describe it to me?
Yes, it was an envelope, like a letter, folded in with a wax seal. I was informed not to open it.
Is there a dust or anything about it, or perhaps inside it when he opened it?
Yes, curious to say this, there was a, almost like a black powder that emanated from the envelope when it was open, and a soft, almost white light glow that emanated from the inside of the envelope. I didn't witness it myself, but after the light played out, Monsieur Lightning was rather out of sorts, worried about his family affairs, his wife, and what she might be doing without him. A number of crazed and horrific things uttered from a man before his final moments. I do apologize for the graphic detail of this, but I do not wish to play coy on this matter.
Honesty's the best policy.
It is a policy, yes.
You, ended up in a rather precarious situation that we found you in.
Hmm.
How did... If I assume you would have been a bit more cautious after things happened. How did TT get you?
I showed up to get my paycheck. I did exactly what was asked of me, and I assumed payment would be made. He asked me what I saw. I said I saw the final moments of a dying man. After that, well, one of his little, beads saw to it that I could not move any further, and he transported me to his, shall we say, playground. I was quite caught unawares, unfortunately, and it was very unprofessional.
He's a sneaky little bastard.
Indeed.
I think we'll have to discuss your offer with the group, but gathering information would be quite valuable.
And, of course, much more affordable than wet work, shall we say. But depends on what you might need. Perhaps if there are areas of the world you need to explore, but you do not have the means or time to do so yourself, I could be an eye in the field for you.
Look back to JJ, kind of satisfied with what I've asked so far.
And if we need you, where do we find you if you're not here?
Oh, well, I intend to stay here, at least until I've recovered. After which, it's simple. He takes, you notice he has these, his kind of curled horns and all that, has a number of like pieces of jewelry that are still on him. He wasn't like stripped down or anything. His weapons were obviously taken from him, but most of his other items were there. He reaches over to one of his ears and tethers, kind of unclasps a large kind of hanging bit of like a sapphire that kind of dangles at the bottom of this, and he outstretches it to you all. He goes, "If you wear this, I will hear what you speak, and vice versa. It is easy enough to hide, but I have the matching one." He points to another one of the earrings in the same ear. Funnily enough, you also know that Preeple has a stone similar to this among her jewelry. Not on her ears, though.
Okay. JJ will take it. Thank you. Preeple, should I keep... Would you like it returned to him, or should I keep it with me as well?
Preeple looks to
Matching.
you, and she goes, "There is a promise made with those, and I think it's best to keep that, huh?"
I like it. Sounds good to me.
And I as well.
Well, thank y'all for answering questions. I do hope you get back to full order soon, Corvus. And I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Very good, then. Thank you again for saving my life, huh? I do appreciate it.
It's what we do.
Heroes in this day and age. Cute.
Something like that. Y'all have a good afternoon.
And to your health.
And your...
Rest well.
Pair of you exit the room. We'll cut to fast cut. Orville, what do you want to be doing?
I'm just hanging out, waiting for Cole Jones if he needs me to punch any ghosts. I think he's free of that, though, right?
Ghost Puncher. Yeah, doesn't seem to be a spirit active in the area anymore now that the armor's off.
Can I check that out with True Sight and verify?
Yeah, you look it out. Are you trained in insight or religion?
Religion for sure. Insight also, yes.
Okay. Religion and insight without having to roll. You would know that this armor likely only awakens this ancestor dwarven spirit when it is worn by someone who it is not like worthy, or like who it doesn't deem worthy. And thus, slowly, as this person is taking damage in excessive amounts, it's fueling the life energy of this spirit. So likely, without a conduit, it should lay dormant, and its spirit haunts that armor. But it seems at rest and at peace until the armor is donned by an unworthy successor.
Neat. I will share this newfound knowledge with Jonesy.
There you go.
Oh. I'll fucking show him.
Show
I
that
go to
dwarf.
pretend to put it back on, but I don't. I'm putting on my half plate this whole time. 'Cause it's going to take a while.
Takes like half an hour. It's the worst thing ever. Morgan, what do you want to be doing while they're having their meeting with Threeple and her brother?
Can I find? I can't remember what his office looks like, and I know we're in the office. Can I just like sit in like a comfy chair, like curl up,
Yeah, several comfy chairs.
and then, can I pull the package I received out of my coat and kind of open it, like
Yeah.
quietly but kind of hidden?
Yeah, you look, and there's this beautiful kind of like white silk cloth. It feels lighter than even air as you kind of hold it. It's like very beautifully made. As you open it, it kind of unfolds, and you can see this beautiful golden stitching in it, and it says "An invitation to Parliament." As you open the box, there is a singular, like very ornate looking porcelain white mask in the effigy of an owl.
Do it.
I'm the
I was
Bat-
muted.
Follow nature's design. Don't listen to him.
I'm the Batman fan here, so
You said it's an invitation to Parliament?
It's what it says on this like beautiful light white cloth. And there's like
Gotcha.
golden stitching that says your invitation to Parliament.
Is there anything else in here? Anything like on the back of it? Anything on the back of the mask?
Yeah, you can pick it up and kind of look over the mask itself. You see here. I'll make sure I have it right for you. This, do that. All right. Looking it over, as you kind of look on the inside of it, there is a pearled kind of finish on the inside of the mask. It seems for the most part just to be a box with a mask in it, with nothing else to it. But the shine of this mask lets you know there is something about it. Either when worn or carried in a certain fashion, more than likely there is something to it involving this mask. You're not 100% sure, like, this, that, or the other, but it could be any number of things.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna kind of wrap it back up and tuck it back in my bag.
Mhm.
And then I'm gonna summon Chunkini and
All right.
hang out with him for the rest of the time.
The cat is summoned. You hear meow, meow, meow. Slowly hobbles around this office. Its little jingle bell feet go around in this big chunkster. Somehow, even though it's been a while since he's been summoned, he's even bigger. And you're not quite sure what he's doing in the Feywild when you're not summoning him, but probably eating fairies or something, swatting them out of
He's
the
hunting
sky.
down everybody.
Yeah, killing cockroaches
Hide
and
your
just leaving
pigs.
them in shoes. Yeah, which is impressive for how big the cat is. But fair enough. Cobalt Jones putting on the half plate. I think you answered my question before I asked it. Celeste, anything you want to be doing before JJ and Velithil return?
I'm just going to be outside spending time with Sparkles.
The new version of Sparkles 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
you
improved, unracist Sparkles.
yeah you get this horse. You look at this pony, and it is a majestic steed. It's a full-size pony. able to be ridden, and it has this kind of like air of nobility to it. Anytime you ask it a question, it answers in the affirmative, and it's very like militaristic in that response.
Oh wait, does he already have a name?
No, none of them have
Oh,
names
okay,
until
okay.
you give them names.
Okay. Oh, okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay. Didn't want to just assume here.
No worries. Just hang out with the horse then?
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. JJ and Vel, you return back to the office, having spoken with Preeple and her brother Corvus.
Before we get back,
Mhm.
JJ,
Yes,
I
Miss
wanted
Bell.
to propose an idea to you. This whole Grim Village thing, you've spearheaded it for the group rather impressively, and I was kind of curious if we should consider a change in our captain.
I'm not entirely sure that's something we need to do. I was just kind of sorry if it felt like I was overstepping bounds. It just
No, I've
maybe
been happy to be
the
here supporting you. I'm impressed.
uh, it was just I don't know the undertones of trying to figure everything out. It just I mean if you would like to, how we had you and Colt earlier, if you want to co captain. But I also feel like we're doing good as a team figuring stuff out, We've all got
And
our own skills.
yeah, well, I've always tried to hear everyone's opinions, and it's just kind of become a little group discussion most of the time. So it's just
Yeah. But I appreciate the offer and faith in me to lead. It's entirely up to you and the group, to be honest.
I wanted
I,
to ask you before bringing it up because I thought maybe you wouldn't want it put before everyone if you weren't interested, but I wanted you to know. Just,
Thank you for asking first. It would have been quite a shock. But if that is something that you would like to bring up, I trust you as someone that has led us through the last however long now. Honestly, time is kind of hard to keep track of at this point.
a little bit.
But I trust you and your judgment. If that's something you'd like to bring up with everyone, that would be fine with me.
Oh, we'll stay the course right now. Like you said, we kind of handle everything as a team for the most part anyways. It's just a little title over your name, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to put it out there.
Thank you.
The pair of you return. Double Jones almost done with his armor. Maybe another 25 minutes or so. Heavy armor takes forever.
Well, this is actually medium armor, which is taking me longer because I hate medium armor.
Oh, fair. Throwing a bitch fit.
Yeah. But my medium armor and heavy armor stats are switched.
There you go.
After all, I am a master of heavy armor.
Of course. Heavy armor master. That is true. But yes, the pair of would-be diplomats return to the group. Morgan sits playing with Chunkini. Celeste is outside, somewhere playing with a pony by any other name. And Orville is, I assume, doing the caveman SpongeBob move where he's waiting for the ghost to show back up, like full Oonga Boonga. Ooh. Just waiting for it.
That's entirely accurate.
But yes, What comes next, Seekers of Galanti?
We'll inform the group of especially Corvus's offer and see if there's anything we would like to send him out to do. So what do you all think of that?
You
I
know,
mean, if we really wanted to do something other than have him kill on our behalf, which I think the target in question does rightly deserve that, but we could always have him scout out the Black Ram.
Could get more information on the ram.
You do
Personally,
have a pending notice for that, to be fair.
Pending notice for what?
For meeting meeting up with a contact of the Black Ram.
Yeah. So we could send him ahead to Thule, since we have a few other things before we would be in that area.
we could definitely do that. I was gonna say Iskander, but I feel like I'm not sure how much you could get accomplished there.
It's also right where we're headed next.
Yeah.
What do we need to have done in Iskander?
Just the path to Balzulan Colony.
Yeah, but
No, I mean, what were you going to have him do in Iskander?
I was going to have him reach out to perhaps the last contact that I know we had. However, when we left Iskander, it was in a bit of a turmoil, if you will. There were some folks who weren't entirely happy with perhaps leadership.
Yeah, I mean, they always riot every year after the big Blurse ball game, so that makes sense.
It has to do with the queen.
The Red Fists are always, oh, the Red Fists, they don't deserve it. And then, no, the White Fists, they don't deserve it. And there's, carts tipped over on fire. It's a whole thing.
Dwarven culture, mostly about fisting, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the backyard fisting that happens afterwards.
Ah, there it is.
Let me just write these notes down real quick.
Of course, make sure you get that in capitals. That's Fisting.
I'm trying to do the best I can to make all this canon. You have to go back in his notes.
Is that at the root of dwarf and elf problems? It goes back to an old fisting game.
Yeah, dwarves have really big. They have really big hands, so it's really not fair. And elves are sore losers, so
they're sore.
And they have sore bottoms.
That's true.
A lot of soreness in that community. Moving on.
Anyway. I guess it would to scope out the political environment if we sent him to Iskander, but I feel like we can.
The thing was, I don't. Just the way we kind of left with the agreement we didn't take. We're on good terms with those who had us there, but I don't think that. It was kind of rushed, and I mean, they almost didn't let us get our clothes.
Yeah, it was a strange time. That's about when Vel lost her arm.
That's
Who'd you guys work for?
I remember you guys mentioning that Vel lost her arm there, but I didn't realize that you guys had such chaos going on.
It was a bit chaotic.
It was, I think we, to be honest, it was our first really big on the road situation. A lot of hard choices. But
Well, maybe
I
maybe
am
Jones could help us.
blanking.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds pretty obvious that you guys don't understand dwarven culture, so probably
Oh.
didn't help very much there.
I
That's
never claimed to.
no, yeah.
No, I know. I mean, you didn't have to. I would have known anyway that you didn't. But I'm just saying, I do know it. I lived it. So
I don't remember if you ever mentioned which house that you fell into, Jones. But we worked for the bus runs. So
yeah, that guy's a fucking prick.
oh, okay, good to know. I thought he was
And in fact,
quite kind.
Yeah, I
I would
got
never
along
work
with
for
him
that
very
son
well.
of a bitch again.
Okay. I will
I might
Sorry.
even punch him in his stupid mouth if I see him again. Oh, now I gotta start over on my fucking armor.
Yeah. Next time, tread a little lighter on the house topic. He just
hot
gets
and
real
bothered.
fired up. Okay, yep.
Is there a house we could have mentioned that wouldn't have resulted in that, though?
Yeah, we are
Probably
not.
not.
That's
Okay.
the only one. So
That's the only one.
There would
Multiple dwarven
definitely.
houses.
There's two.
At least two of them. There's the red fist and the white fist. There's at least two of them.
Okay, Jones, to be on the right side with your folk when we go up there, do we cheer for the red fist or do we cheer for the white fist?
it depends on what team Stonefist is on.
Does Stone Fist
He gets
flip
traded
flop?
around a lot, but
Like a
he's my
star
boy.
player?
He's my favorite player. Yeah.
Okay. We'll make sure to ask who's who when we get into town.
What?
I'll recognize him as soon as I see him.
Jones, what house were you raised by? I don't recall it right now. Sorry.
That's a really good question.
Super good question, isn't it?
And I definitely have several pages of backstory that explains all this. But
course.
DM, can you remind me what the house was?
Oh, of course. Oh,
He does it so much better. Yeah. Cream, you tell us.
of course.
I'm not pulling out a notebook.
He's over there fighting his fingers, waiting for you.
Like,
Just
please.
send it back to him.
Go right ahead. Yes. Kobold Jones will regale you of the House Orin, which is Orin. You actually know two people from House Orin, and it kind of is fitting a little bit their personalities and how Kobold Jones was raised. You've already met Ulrich and Edric, who were two brothers that went on you with the journey through Lord Sirius Busrin's company, and is often hired on by the Busrins for a number of jobs, and is part of the reason why Kobold Jones has a poor history with Busrind himself. But yes, the Orins are known quite well in Iskander as being a bit of a party family. They drink very heavily, they fight very hard, and they are pretty much there just for the glory and the money, above many of the other houses that are more respected for advancements to literature, advancements to things of that sort. The Orins are more fussed about good music, good women, good food, good drink, and good riddance to all elves.
Fighting and sports, party boys. That's my house notes.
And I definitely talk shit about elves during this.
Oh yeah, of course.
And also, fuck elves.
Damn. He said that though.
Yeah, I mean,
two elves in the party says that though.
It's weird how I don't disagree with him.
Especially high elves and especially half breeds.
God damn.
I don't associate with my elf kind anymore.
That's for the best.
Maybe one day we'll figure out what my other half
Although,
is.
to be fair, humans not much better, so you kind of got the shitty end of both.
I mean, do you see any humans
Is
here?
Morgan human? Morgan, are you?
Like, I mean, that's half. Well, I guess you could be half something else.
Yeah.
What is
I
your
can
other
tell
half?
you what I am.
Okay. Can I figure out what her other half is? Can I be racist here and be like,
You don't need me to give you permission to be a racist. You can just you can do what the racists do and just wildly assume something, and no one can tell you you're wrong
Here.
until you go on Twitter.
I'm a white man, all right? This is my zone.
The auto zone.
Go sit with Sparkles.
No,
You
yeah,
can't handle this.
She's definitely human.
No, don't corrupt new Sparkles.
I can see it in the eyes and the nose.
Right. I mean, the only thought that I had of in Iskander was we were going to visit with Schmidt. Because he owed you one. Right, Jones?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really planning on getting him to pay up on that. I did it out of more kindness than like wanting something back.
I know, but at this point we could use it to benefit our new home or our old one.
That's pretty true. Might be a good way to secure maybe building materials or something.
At least then you're not taking something personal for it, you're just greater good.
I mean, I don't really want to do that, but I won't stop you guys from trying to cash in on my favor. Because,
I
like
don't
I said,
think
I don't.
it's ours to cash in on.
Alright, well, then you don't get nothing, because I don't want nothing.
Fair enough. Thought I'd put it out there. So yeah. Is there anywhere else we should consider sending him?
What all were we gonna do? We were going up, obviously here. We've handled that. We have Barzulin to deal with the strange creatures that showed up, right? That
Yep.
they said. I don't remember what exactly we were doing in Iskander other than
Iskander was just a stop along the way.
Just a
We'll
stop.
probably find some comfort.
okay, that sounds like a nice thing. And then we had Thule.
Before Thule would have been the well.
Okay, so we want to do the well before Thule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least by where the road travels. I'd figure
Mhm.
if we go from Iskander, we'd hit Riska and the
Mhm.
Frigid Well before traveling into the more mountainous plateau down to where Thule is.
Thule is much closer to Grim Village than Iskander is, just as a point of reference.
Mhm.
But it's like up the side of a mountain, right?
Yeah, there's a thing called the peaks that are guarded. There are ways to go up the peaks, but they are it's like a sheer cliff that then lowers down into the snowlands. But
And
up to you all.
then is Riska where Orville's thing is?
Oh, know
No.
that.
That is all the way over here.
Okay, that's
Cloud
right. It's
view.
all the way
Cloudview
Cloud
Village.
View.
Just under the underside of the withered cliffs.
Mhm.
Legitimately on the edge of the world, past the sky peaks themselves.
I knew it was
Certainly
like west. So.
could change our travel path, though I would still want to do Barzula next. That's, something actually attacking people.
Mhm. That I'm down for. And you've got you wrote down the I think I remember you saying that you wrote down the sigils for the bedroom.
Yes, I've taken down the sigils for the bedroom and for the loading dock here. And I actually need to check through some of the drawers and things, see if there was any chalk but if not, the residuum would probably work for it once I'm able to translate and decipher. I'm still not quite capable of teleporting us around, but shouldn't be too far off, and then I'll copy it right out of Little Grimoire and feed it right back to it, so I can read it.
I'm glad that you were able to tame that thing.
Oh,
Uh,
I wouldn't call it taming. They're very intelligent and very hungry.
Quite hungry. But I was just thinking, as long as we have the sigil, we could even pay our way for someone to transport us back if we thought that maybe coming back here would be a faster way to travel by land. But that's fine. I would definitely
well,
want to do
that's-
Barzulon next.
That's a good question. Orville, you kind of have a good lay of land and terrain and whatnot. Do you have any insight into if we tried to travel from Grim Village to Thule?
I certainly don't, but the DM might.
Hey, look at that. Yeah. Let me see. What would be? No need to roll. Let's just talk. Let's just talk shop. Orville, you know for a fact that the paths through the kind of like eastern roads leading out of Grim Village to Thule are treacherous. Not only do they kind of they run parallel to the forests that reach all the way up to the cliffs themselves, but also you know that many of the pathways up the kind of like the steep drop off of this this part of the continent are very treacherous. As a whole, it would only be about 2, maybe 3 days worth of journey, depending on if you guys get caught or stuck along the traversal. The biggest problem with it for most folks is the change in altitude, as you will be climbing at effectively like very steep inclines for several hours in a day. It's highly recommended that you bring very sturdy animals to traverse there. Basic horses and the like typically succumb to mountain sickness and actually collapse under the change in temperature and pressure. For traveling there, that's kind of the ins and outs of it. Once you're there, the Sunken Gardens is a beautiful place, honestly. Just depends on where you're at.
So for like the hardy animals, would we be thinking like the rams like Busterint had, or
Yeah, you would need like strong animals, either rams or any type of magical beast that you could summon. Your beetle would be a good choice. Even Celeste's pony would be good if it could pull and bring a cart or wagon. But the stories of those areas are very well known for travelers passing out along the sides of the roads and attempts of like effectively getting sick. It's the same kind of principle of like people who climb Everest. There's just so much of a change in elevation in only like a couple 100 feet that people legitimately collapse and have to be rescued or be found on the mountain. Of which you do know there is a group of individuals that do that. But just what you want to do.
like that's just their hobby, or is it a job?
They are roll history. There we. I found the skill check. Thank you. There we go.
That is a total of 18.
Total of 18. Let me make sure what an 18 will buy you. I go pull up my old notes. All right. So, in a particular part of this, a little bit north of Thule itself, along the outskirts of the area, you know that there are again these jagged cliffs that slowly rise up to the plateau that many of the areas bordering Orskath kind of rely on. Among them, there is a section of the world, which I'm going to slide over here, known as Bonebreaker's Leap. Bonebreaker's Leap specifically is one of the fastest methods to climbing up the kind of mountainside, and it also is a large pass. It got that name because it is one of the few places that a number of young children will often remark on jumping from as an attempt and show of bravery to land within several feet of snow at the bottom. It is a very kind of like mark of honor. Among that, this tradition was started by a group known as the Long Spikes. The Long Spikes are a number of creatures, shall we say. They're known simply as beastmen that patrol both Bonebreaker's Leap and the peaks themselves. They monitor and patrol these areas, and typically among them, they respect the rules of the Long Spikes and of the local government, but travelers are always forewarned that should they fall down, they will have to be made to pay by the Long Spikes to be saved. They are a pseudo-mercenary group, but you also know through history that it's always been their homeland, and when people started building on their homeland, they kind of just said, well, this is what we're built for, and you're not, and so more and more they don't have to worry about being conquered because they don't have a formal city or town. But you know from that, with an 18, you're not trained in nature. Never mind. You know, beastmen is the word. You could tell. I mean, you're also from Orskoth. Yeah, sure, why not? Go ahead and roll nature if you will. Kobold Jones. Try to tag team this a bit.
Yeah. That's going to be a 15.
15. You know them too. Yeah, the local term is beastman. You know them as minotaurs. Minotaur. They are a group of them. Specifically, you know that the Long Spikes themselves are very notorious for being very imposing and intimidating. Both from the description from Orville as well as like the history of the land itself from being raised around here within the Iskandar kind of lands. You know, these beastmen are a little bit bigger than most. They tower over most folks, and those that are raised in Orskoth are used to cold weather, they're used to fighting, and they're very well trained by the land themselves. The smallest of them can be as short as about 6'5", while the tallest among them stand about 8 foot tall. Those with larger horns will consider themselves to be 10 foot tall, but most of that is like pomp and circumstance. It's not actually true. They're about 8 feet tall with very large horns. But don't tell them that, otherwise you'll probably get gored.
Wait, I get a free pumpkin if I tell them that?
Yes, you get a free squash. And by squash, I mean how the combat goes.
It's Beastman inches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those guys are tough. They I got beat up one time by them.
They sound tough. Like walking up and down mountains like that.
Yeah, in fact, the first time that I did Bonebreaker's Leap was when I was thrown off of it.
Did they help you with the throwing off of it?
Oh yeah, no, they threw me off. That's what I meant.
Oh yeah.
I was 28.
I was but a boy at 28.
Wait, how old are you now?
Hang on. 40. I forgot.
I was like,
The years
40
just-
something.
The years just melt away from this kobold. Should have died decades ago.
Alright,
Every new day that I survive is another world record.
Current running total. Although I guess now you're a born again kobold.
Yeah, how does that work with the world record if you died and got brought back?
There's a reset.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like my miles got reset.
Kobold Jones, not even a
Zero
year
on
old.
odometer. I know.
Oh, jeez. While we ponder that, while we think about your guys' next step, let's go ahead here and we're going to take a break. We're going to shoot for 5 minutes. It's 8:50. We'll come back at 8:55 and we'll be back with more Second Wake. See you after the break. Peace. Hello, Heidi. How you doing, folks? We're going to minimize this. We're going to turn this way down. There we go. Sorry about that. We took a break, all that, started jibber jabbering off screen. I was like, this jabber would be better if people could watch it and listen to it. So because it's good content, it's good talking about the game and like being serious about stuff, not having to put on a voice or something of that sort. But yeah, how was your break? Did you Did you urinate? I hope you urinate. It's always important to urinate. That way you don't get a urinary tract infection, because if you don't drink enough water in a day, that can definitely, a UTI is in your future. Also, if you are not eating enough fiber, might I recommend, not sponsored, there are these delightful, from Equate, daily fiber medicines that you can take to help you be regular. If you don't want Equate daily fiber, instead, might I recommend Fiber Delish from Tenacious D, Jack Black, and Kyle Gass. It has 3 times the amount of daily fiber your body needs to be pooping regular. Again, not sponsored, but they are delicious. Order your box of Fiber Delish today. Nothing in the doobly-doo, because I'm not sponsored, even though I love Jack Black. Anyway, when we last left, the players were deciding what their next course of action would be, and of course, we thank you for sticking with us, you level 20 characters. So yeah, Seekers of Galanti, as we were saying off on the screen, there are many paths to what you do, but as the Seekers were beginning to realize during our break, there are a number of paths they could walk, and nothing is truly promised or guaranteed. It is up to their leisure as to what they like to do. They know they roughly have about 6 weeks to reach Cloudview if Orville is to accept his invitation into a fighting tournament. But otherwise, everything else is kind of do as you will when you can kind of sort. There is lots of talks of the Frigid Well. Yes, of course. Answer.
Can you just, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
How long roughly, and I think JJ was asking this,
Of course.
how long roughly would it take us to get to Thule versus the Frigid Wells versus
Sure.
all the above?
So, with assuming you have a wagon, when you guys are riding along on a wagon and being pulled by horses, whatever might have you, you can assume, because you know this already, 2 rams pulled you from Grim Village to Iskander in the inside of about 3.5 days. Then you fought a very precarious cave troll of sorts. With that in mind, you know that Thule would take about 2.5 days, simply because of how treacherous Bonebreaker's Leap and the peaks themselves can be to traverse. The other option would be to go completely around and arrive in Riska, where the Grand Lift is just south of it, where that river collides. There is a portion of the area known as the Grand Lift that Orville and Cobalt Jones would know of. That is an operated thing, kind of Game of Thrones style. Brings you all the way up the side of the mountain. It's just a longer journey. From Grim Village to Riska, at the Frozen Well, if that's what you're looking for, it would take roughly 8 days of travel if you were gone by land vehicle. So that's with good weather, keeping on a good pace, and more or less keeping constant, traveling for upwards of about 10 hours a day, resting for an evening, letting the horses free, that kind of thing, making camp. But yeah, you'd be looking at about an 8-day journey to Riska, all said and done.
And then,
how far?
sorry.
I'm so sorry.
That's right.
I'm sorry. I was going to ask, how far is it from, if we elected to go from Thule to Cloudview Village or from Frigid Well to Cloudview, how long would it take between those two?
So Thule to Cloudview would be about 7 to 10 days, give or take where you're at for the area. It's not a straight line, and there's really no way to do that. So you have to kind of go southward to go northward. You have to go a little bit over around the forest to continue eastward. So from there, and then you said from Riska to Cloudview? Riska, you'd have to wait for the Grand Lift, because Cloudview is up on the area itself. Unless you wanted to try to traverse the Sky Peaks, which Orville is well enough to know. The Sky Peaks are a hellaciously treacherous area that only the most brave individuals will dare attempt to traverse. They are beyond uninhabitable to most folks. But from Riska to Cloudview, you'd be looking at about 6 to 7 days at the best. It takes about a half of a day or more for the Grand Lift to bring you from bottom to top, because you have to wait for it to descend all the way back down and then rise back up. It's several hours on a long, treacherous lift.
So in travel alone, if we went here to Riska to Thule to Cloudview, it's almost 3 weeks.
Inside of 3, almost 4 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably leaning towards 4 weeks. the assumption is you're probably going to do things at the places you visit. So
Yeah, I meant
account for
just
that.
travel. Just
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
looking at like.
Yeah, just travel alone. About half of your timetable would be that, unless you found, again, who knows what. I mean, I don't know. You know, if you find crazy teleport stuff, I don't know how much coffee you like in your tea. You know what I mean? I don't know. And I mix that. How much honey you want in your tea? There we go. That's a better phrase.
All right, how many fly spells we got ready?
JJ?
One per day. Okay.
I got a whole bunch on my wish list from Grimory, so like I can take it now if I need some other weird stuff later.
Okay. So this is out of character. But this is my thoughts on this. We have the ability to hire Corvus. We could send him to handle Barzuln. Or at least give us information on what's going on there. Because we're not entirely sure what's happening. We can say that he could hire folks from his sister, check it out, see if they can handle it. Meanwhile, we can hit the Frigid Well, because that was specifically given to us by Rattle, whoever that happens to be. And then we hit Thule, and then we cross back over, and then head to Cloudview. That way we can meet with whoever the contact is in Thule for the Black Ram, and that gets that done. We can get whatever is done at the Frigid Well done before anyone else is able to get out, and if anyone else has that clue, we're probably the first ones there. And then hopefully that gives us enough time to travel back to Cloudview. That's if we wanted to skip Barzuln Colony.
Well, that also gives us the opportunity on a potential, like if time is taken on the way there, we can do Thule after Cloudview.
Yep.
So
Yep,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, because it kind of sits, that Frigid Well and Riska kind of sits right in between both, almost.
Yeah. I will say it'll be a conversation with Corvus, because he definitely sounded like a solo act, kind of like goes in, takes care of things, without knowing the head that we want removed in whatever the sea things are there.
Anything
So
that has
we
more
certainly
than one.
couldn't. Sorry, what?
We want the head removed from anything that has more than one.
Not a fan of Ettins. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think I would want to lean a bit more on just sending him
For info
I don't know. It'll be a
first?
conversation with him if he's interested in like trying to solve a problem, and if he wants to bring a team.
Yeah, we could. Well, what we could also do too is we can send him up there, have him relay the information to JJ, and then we can relay said information to Miss Galanti, and see if she has a team that she would rather send in place.
That would be in the future. You know what else we can do? We can have him. He travel through Iskander. Most likely, we can get some information about what's going on there too.
Mm-hmm.
Just to have some global knowledge, since we did have involvement there.
Yep. I would be down to put some of JJ's share down for paying that, or all of it. It doesn't matter.
Oh no, I'll share part of it with you. I would definitely help fund that. I'm curious, and I don't mind skipping out on Barzulin, but I do want to know more, because it sounds like weird shadowy stuff, and that just triggers my clown senses, and then I get nervous and I hear honking.
Yes, exactly. I also kind of just want to know what kind of strange tentacle monsters are up there.
One of them was a tentacle.
But you know, if y'all have preferences too, super duper down to hear them. I know that Cobalt Jones also is into Frigid Well and Thule.
Is
Yeah.
everyone's top one frigid?
Good
Yes.
question. Let's go through it. Celeste. Do is your top preference? Uh-oh. I'm seeing heavy breathing. This conversation's having. Celeste, what is your top
I need
preference?
I need 2 more seconds to
Two-
gather thoughts on this.
Okay,
2 more minutes.
okay.
Skip me. I'll be the end.
Okay, so I'll leave Cobble Jones and Celeste at the bottom since she's going back.
Thank
and
you.
forth on
I appreciate you.
it. So JJ's top is Frozen Well. Vel, your top is Frozen Well?
Yeah.
Okay. Morgan, what is your top right now?
A great question. I
Mm-hmm.
think Frozen Well sounds kind of cool. But yeah, I didn't really have a preference. I just thought we were just gonna swing by all of them and then head back. But
Yeah.
We realized time and travel existed at this point.
But wait, we can't just fast travel to locations we've been before. Frick.
yeah,
Couple
we
levels,
can go to
maybe.
a library or like something like that
A library?
to like find out about the cloud thing.
Yeah.
Or is that in the cloud thing?
I mean, that's up to you guys. If you go to a major city, like Iskandar is a proper capital city, there's also a number of other like major cities. There's chances to find out more information about that. Also, just in general, the population closer to Cloudview would likely have more information about Cloudview itself. So, just is
Yeah.
what it is.
We'd probably be stopping in Alaka, if not even Riska having information about Cloudview. Those would be the 2 closest places.
I'm only bringing it up because I'm sure that Morgan doesn't know shit about what Parliament is, and I'd like to kind of figure out if I can investigate that further. But
I'm not gonna lie. I think you should ask like Preeple or Corvus.
I don't know if I trust them enough.
Do I know anything about legends about it?
I think I can very safely say if you rolled a 30, you would still not know about Parliament.
Okay.
It's just
Guidance.
it's not in your circle. Yeah, you're like warrior, fighter, military, not your jam at all, unfortunately.
Wait, would Morgan know anything, or would she have just like have?
You
Not
only
really.
know that it's associated with the person known as the Owl, which is many of you might actually know that too. Is one of the commonalities of the world is that there is a master thief, almost a very like Lupin the Third in kind of legend, known as the Owl. And anytime a big item goes missing from the world, it's always spoken of that the Owl had another heist. And there very seldom is known about this individual, other than they are the world's greatest thief.
Has JJ heard any or read any stories about Parliament?
That's a good question. You could go ahead and give me a very difficult history check if you are trained in history. And you can go for that. I will tell you the DC is very high.
Bro, I got
That's
all
not
my
gonna
Batman
happen.
comics right here.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard the stories.
Ooh, the legends. You said 6 is the total?
6.
Yeah,
That was
man.
the DC you needed. Perfect. Good job.
How'd you figure it was so
Great
high?
job.
Yeah, it's more than one hand's worth of numbers. No, you haven't really heard anything. Just in the kind of mystique and mystery of who the Owl is, it's not surprising that there aren't many stories that are like shared about the individual. Also, they're very much a criminal mastermind, and many people get uncomfortable talking about legitimate lawbreakers. There's tons of fans for this individual, but it's all kind of like, yeah, stole from the rich and took for themselves. Like, yeah, good for them. Like, it's not. It's more or
Like-
less like other rogues aspiring to be that kind of anonymity.
Okay, gotcha. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'll tell you all about Elven Parliament later. Takes a whole
What are they-
afternoon.
Orville, is Frozen Well top of the list other than Cloudview for you?
Yes, one other question.
Yeah.
Can I roll history to see if Parliament is indeed Funkadelic?
Oh, you don't need to roll history. It's funkadelic as fuck. Parliament of
That's a good-
funk. I'm about that shit. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I need to change all my I gotta change all my notes now. They're just dope rappers from the underground.
I was really good friends with Bootsy back in the day.
Bootsy! There we go.
Oh.
Fair enough. So, Celeste Coble Jones? Oh, Celeste she's back in the think tank.
Sorry, I was trying to get a confirmation. Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Sorry. Okay.
It's all right.
Personally, I think I would just like to knock out Thule and go there since it's only a day and a half away, and then make our way. Oh, sorry, 2.5 days away, and then make our way to the Frigid Wells. But, that's just me.
It's dangerous.
So, a quick question. How long do we have that beetle? It's active for a day, 24 hours, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can travel for 24 hours on the beetle, but that also leaves a day and a half where, again, since we'd be crossing those mountains to get up in there, where we would be facing altitude sickness and all that kind of stuff.
We also wouldn't have rams at that point.
Yeah, we wouldn't have rams because we're not hitting Iskander.
I will... Celeste, would you like to use a lifeline?
No, yes.
Okay, cool.
I would like to phone a friend, please.
Okay, Jesus comes down. No, I'm kidding. The Weaver themselves.
Holy Weavers,
as
please give me some guidance.
As the group discusses the lack of a strong animal to replace the Karen beetle, you can feel the heft of the obsidian statue in your bag, knowing that it can summon a fully grown bear.
Well, not only do we have also the bear, but then we also have my horse that we could get a wagon for.
Your
and
horse
then
is
if
a pony.
Oh man,
I'm just saying it honestly. A pony is not going to pull 7.5 people.
So the bear would be another day. It's 24 hours.
It is also 24 hours. Yeah.
Okay. It's feasible if we want to take a dangerous path and go to Thule. That's my lack of interest in Thule, and is just that I'm curious about the ram, but it doesn't have any sort of timetable. It is if you want to come and speak, this is a thing. So, like, the ones that were more sent to us have priority in my mind that way. And as a one-armed elf, I am terrified of mountain climbing.
Just don't fall.
I can fireman carry you up the mountain.
Thank you.
Probably weigh about as much as my dwarven armor.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, fair. So what's the plan, Seekers? Actually, Cobalt Jones, I don't think I heard from you. What's your idea? Frozen Well? Frigid Well. Fair enough. So, up to you all to decide how it goes. You can venture through if the goal is the Frigid Well. Your options are the stopover in Thule, which also allows you a respite from about 3 days worth of travel in a city, where you can resupply, look at other things, maybe make purchases if you'd like to, or just straight up 8 days of travel throughout the north and east straight to Riska, and that's up to you guys.
Who's up for a road trip? Corn dogs on me.
I'm definitely interested in the road trip. I think one of my concerns is if we go to Thule and then go to the well, we're going to have like 2 days of just being on an elevator.
I was just about to say that too.
You can always jump it.
Yeah, because there is the elevator.
I know the spot that I got thrown off of on the Bonebreaker's Leap, so...
Granted, it was winter, but he knows the spot.
Yeah.
I vote for the 8-day travel to the well at this point, because that seems to be what most people are interested in.
I will go either way.
So I've got one for the well, one for Celeste. What do we got?
I'm sticking with Thule.
Sticking with Thule. So one for Thule, one for this, and one floater. Morgan. Diplomacy.
I think going to Thule would be kind of cool.
Ooh.
Prime intended.
It does rhyme.
Just because, like I said, Morgan just wants to find out more information if there's anything here. So
fair enough. So 2 for Thule, 1 for road trip. Cobalt Jones.
Frigid Well.
Bridget, that either way, we're getting there. Do you want the road trip or do you want to go to Thule first?
Oh, sorry, road trip.
Road trip.
Road
two
trip.
for road trip. Orville, you're the deciding vote, I believe. Yeah, because JJ's a floater.
All right.
Unless you want to
Steven's road
ask
trip.
Bartholomew.
No, I'm rolling for it.
Oh, you're rolling for it. We're rolling.
I'm rolling for
Oh, evens odds.
All right, it's odd. So, Nate to road trip.
Nate, so 3 for Thule. The motion carries
Okay.
for Thule.
Yes.
Dunk, dunk, dunk.
So we want to get a wagon and have Beetle pull it and then Bear pull it is the plan?
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
a
good.
very struggle bus pony after that.
Yeah. The pony and then a kobold. Overworked kobold. I'll just, yeah.
The second
like-
it's all gone, Bella's just hopping right on Jones's back. It's like,
We should get some climbing kits too, probably.
Yoda.
yeah, get some strong rope and some pittance for sure.
I mean, there's a bunch of Wild West types in here. They probably got climbing kits, right?
This
if
is
anyone
like a
has
frontier town for the most part.
Yeah.
The village it is. I mean,
we'll get
Don't we also
those.
have to tell the warden that Colt died? And she's
The
in
warden's
Thule?
not here. The warden's in Thule.
That's, yeah, because she's in Thule. So if we go to Thule, we can tell the
Mhm.
warden that Colt died.
Actually,
This is our
that's
plan coming up here.
that's a
That's a great.
Go ahead, say it. Say it. That's
Say
a
what?
good. That's a good idea.
well, yes, it is a good idea. What I was gonna say is when we're done with this full decision, can I talk to George? Because I want to ask him about how the interaction with the warden went when they were taking over.
oh, sure.
Just while Bella's doing that, JJ would like to go to the kitchen and have the kitchen prepare candied ginger root, and she would like to find peppermint candies, please.
Okay. Easy enough to do. If you'd like, you can put down that you have a bag of peppermint candies.
Thank you.
Kind of a high fancy food for a casino. That'll work. So you guys are agreed getting a wagon, which you will just say you have because you own this casino and this whole village. Not to say that everything is free here. We're going to follow the video game rules of, yes, I know you're the one killing all the vampires, but a box of shotgun shells is 500 pesetas. I'm sorry. You just have to pay the 500 pesetas, okay? I'm making money here, okay? I know we're in Raccoon City and you're the only person that can save us from the zombie apocalypse. I need my 500 pesetas. So
Did we take any gold? Like, what are we taking
That
as
is
far as that goes?
up to y'all. I don't track your money.
You
we
each
made
10,000 each.
If you want to carry that, you go right ahead. I will warn you, every 10 coins is 1 pound.
Please just let me know how much you end up taking from that 10,000 so I can put it on the spreadsheet.
There's a spreadsheet, folks. I love it. That's twin magic right there. Anytime I hear spreadsheet, I get PTSD. I have so many spreadsheets at work. Anytime I'm like, oh, I can make a spreadsheet for that. I'm like, no, please, God, just make a tab. Make a tab anywhere. It's another spreadsheet. God damn it. Much love. It's just, oh my goodness. I stare at those Excel spreadsheet boxes 900% of my day.
All day, every day.
All day, every day. It's the life. But yeah, feel free to mark your money off if you guys want to note how much you're taking or not taking. That's fine. Again, you literally could bring a barrel full of gold and platinum with you because you're going to have a wagon. Just know that barrel is full of a bunch of money that's very heavy. So, it's up to you guys.
You can put it in a bag and have
There's
Morgan slap it in her infinite box.
That is also true. You do have a literal box full of emptiness that could just be, you could dump the side of a canister into, and that box will never weigh more than, I think, 10 pounds, somewhere in there.
To be fair, we don't know that it's actually empty. It could be full of gingerbread men. We don't know.
It's technically full of a dire monster known as a gold eater that eats all the gold that gets put in it. You caught me.
It's also got Schrodinger's cat in it.
It definitely has Schrodinger's cat in it. Or does
We
it?
have to save that cat. Destroy the box.
Destroy the box.
That would be one way to get all the contents out.
That is certainly a way.
Relax.
Just dump the box upside down.
Nobody's
You already
hurting
said
the
that didn't
box.
work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You have to turn it inside out, which you can't turn the box inside out.
I've done it before.
We'd have to make it into a hole and then grab a breathing tube and jump in.
Explore.
That I have.
I'd like to take my 10K and put it in my box in a bag.
Morgan gets a funnel, opens her box, and
In a
dumps
bag.
all her gold in there.
Feeds the gold eater. It wasn't a joke.
All your gold's been eaten now.
It's
That's
just
fine.
Another mimic.
So you can put 10,000 gold is in that box, Morgan. In the bottomless box, 10,000 gold for Morgan. Make sure you mark the spreadsheet, or Celeste will stab you. And that's not on me. That's just her MO.
It's true, I got stabbed once.
It's true. It's true. We've all been stabbed with a pen usually, or scissors. Why we took our scissors away at one point.
I was a knife.
Oh, ooh, that's a knife.
Please send help.
Oh,
Said
please,
you wouldn't talk
please.
about that again.
I'm not joking.
It's okay. I almost stabbed Orville too once. It's fine.
ooh.
Wait, I've never actually. That was
Oh, it was a joke.
Oh,
okay.
oh God.
It was an accident.
Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh. Anyway, Peppermint's
Kind
gotten
of just like
gold
walk up on
deposited.
her
Orville
very
walks
silently.
off. Kobo-Jones has PTSD about getting stabbed. Vel, you
Yeah.
find George on the casino floor, currently kind of like overlooking games and is advising, kind of just working like a managerial role at this point, and kind of like reaffixing and kind of pointing out things that they want to have fixed. As you kind of greet them, they turn back around and goes, "Oh there, hello there, boss. I'm making sure everything run real good like for you."
Oh, well, that's very appreciated, Mr. Creedy.
No. George is good. Mr. Creedy, that's a name I cannot wear.
Oh, my apologies, George.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, if your memories have come back well enough. We had an acquaintance here in the village, the warden, Corsa. She didn't seem like someone who would easily leave, and I was curious if you had any insight on how that went.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember her real good. I believe I beat the green out her until she left. My own two hands. TT had requested that she leave on amicable terms, and she disagreed with it. So she had to be put down like a sick dog. I regret it in hindsight, but I really wasn't in control of my actions. But she was a fighter, real fighter. If I was of the right mind, I might have asked her to marry me afterwards. Seemed like a good type for that. But after she was knocked unconscious, TT worked his magic, and when she woke up, she had the idea to leave.
We're hopefully going to find her in our travels, and if I restore her, well, if we, probably JJ, restores her mind, would you like me to have an apology from you or anything you'd want to say? Proposal?
Yeah, hold on, I got a thing for that. He unbuttons the top two buttons of his vest and reaches into like the front and pulls out a necklace. And you see there is a collection of different teeth and pieces. And he looks down and goes, or I'm sorry, they look down and go, oh, this one's the one. He plucks a tooth and puts it in your hand and goes, make sure she gets that and tell her I'm real apologetic like about that, but if she ever wants to try and get one of mine back, she knows where to find me for round 2.
I will deliver this and that message.
Hey, you're all right, boss. I do appreciate it.
Appreciate what you're doing, George. Good work. Have a great day.
You have a great one as well, and make sure you don't stop in and get you something to eat. You're looking a little thin.
Yeah, have a little meal.
Good on ya. Be well there. Tucks
Thank you.
the necklace back in, rebuttons their vest. A few people are like have stopped and like have been watching this conversation. And you see George turn and go, "What you looking at? You're clucking like a hen. Get out of here. Get back to work." And they're like, "Oh, yes, sir, George." And they like start running around, getting back to things. But after that, lunch is set, meals are reconvened. You guys have time around the casino. Anything you all want to do before heading out?
JJ will talk to Corvus about checking at Barzul, and seeing how he would like to proceed with that, and getting his rate for doing a little recon through Barzul to see what that is, but also Iskander to see the political climate.
Oh, let's see. I'm sorry. still in George mode. Hold on. Let's see. Let's be travel all the way up north. Bazulan as well. This is yeah, I could do this. I could say 800 gold for the travel. Investigation 1500 each. So 38.
I think that's quite reasonable.
I would say normally half now, half later. But you'll be gone a while, so perhaps you leave a half with a trusted associate for when I return.
I find that's a great idea. Sounds good to me. Now with Barzul, once you figure out what's going on there, it's up to you. But mostly we're just looking for information on the strange creatures that they seem to be complaining about.
I will will report back, obviously. You have my earring. So
Yeah,
once I
yeah.
arrive, I'll make a report to you, and it seems a bit more of the way to do things, huh? Proper.
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
Good.
JJ will pay half of it to him, and then she will leave the other half. She'll leave it with Eli.
Wait, Eli?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. Eli will take the set of money and goes, "Oh, thank you, boss. Is it already bonus time? It's great."
No, I just this is half of the payment for Mr. Corvus for a job that he's doing. Just need you to hold on to it till he gets on back to town.
Up and walking around already. All right then.
Yes.
We'll do our absolute best. Make sure that's taken care of for you.
Thank you, sir, and keep doing great.
Do what I do. I'll take the money, tuck it away, and carry on about the day. Mostly you see like tuning up new slot machines and getting like different types of games ready to be played. There's a lot of talk about a spinning wheel game that's coming soon that Eli seems rather excited about. But yeah, payment made, agreements made. Anything else before you guys roll out?
I'm going to give Morgan my share of the gold, and I'll say, "You can take my gold because you bought me the armor, so I gotta pay you back."
Wait, did I buy you the armor?
Yeah.
You're the only one with cash.
Yeah, because all my cash got eaten.
And you eat a guy one time and suddenly it's a thing.
Beaten him a
Epilepsy.
couple times now, let's be honest.
Oh.
If you know what I mean.
Hey. Kids aren't allowed in the stream.
Are you sure you don't want to hold on to some of this at least?
No, I got plenty. I got it's like 700.
Okay. Well, I'll put it in the bag for you just in case.
Okay, but it's yours.
I mean,
so.
All right, you ain't got to tell. That's second time. That's mine now.
That's
I'll take
mine. Dumps another 10K in the box.
Man, you're a lot easier to work with than Buddy. I'll tell you what. And then I'm like shoveling my money in her box with an actual shovel. Just
Scrooge McDuck stuff. The
Yeah.
K-bar shovel comes out.
I'm afraid if I
Tactical
like,
shovel.
yeah.
it's not in a bag. I'm just like, can I get some plat? As I like hold my hand in the box, and it's like one plat comes out at a time.
No, you can think about multiple. You can be like, I want 100 gold. It'll come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You have to think of the items that you want to pull out of it, and it'll materialize if it's in there.
Perfect. All right. Well, I mean, pleasure doing business. Let me know if you ever need me to buy something else. I guess.
Yeah, interest is a bitch.
Sure is. Sure is. Us doing business, and she's gonna like tuck the box away real fast.
It locks it. The latch goes back on it over your shoulder and behind your cloak immediately.
She's
I
gonna
mean, we all know that you
walk away
died to
whistling.
get access to it, so it's not like anyone else is getting access to it.
I died and almost didn't get revived, so we had one less diamond. But yeah.
Technically, we have more than just one left. But yeah, no, you're right. You almost, yeah, we were out, fresh out, so.
I thought we only had two.
We just have to find
Everyone
a couple
has
more.
2, but it takes 2 to do a cast or revivify. But we've used 4 sets of them now.
Hmm.
Sounds right.
So we've used 8. So we should have 4 left.
Yep, 2 more uses.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
Sorry.
who has what. I just know what I have.
No, there should be 4 more uses, right? Because each person had 2. Or sorry, each person
Well-
had 4.
if I had them, they're gone because I was eaten.
Oh yeah, yours are gone. So we have 2 more uses. Okay.
Yep.
There we go. I just remembered one last thing. Can I see the prices that need to be sent to the family for Georgie's agreement on getting some orc corpses?
Oh, the prices to buy orcs? Dead orcs?
Yeah. Well, he said that if you send a donation to.
Yeah, he'll or I'm sorry, they'll talk to you about it. And you kind of hear him go, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna buy some bodies. You ain't gonna do nothing creepy with them, right?
Define creepy.
Like, you're not gonna like
Oh!
lick them or
No.
some
I'm
people are
going.
real into weird shit.
I'm gonna make skeletons that walk around and do stuff for me.
Oh, okay, so like necromancy or something.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean it's like fighting an honorable fight, I guess. I'd probably say if you sent better part of, I don't know, about 100 gold a body, would probably be a good tithe to the family. We could have it shipped out, mailed tomorrow.
Sure. Let's go ahead and do that.
All right. Are you buying all 4 of them off?
Yeah.
Okay. George will collect the money, and the corpses are still technically just like sitting in the office this whole time. They've been like, there's not really a place to put corpses, so they've been kind of rotting. There's like flies and maggots at this point. It's been a week. Every time someone walks in the office, like, man, someone ripped ass in here, and it's like, no, it's just the bodies. It's not Kobold Jones
Sorry.
this time. Yeah.
I can speed it up by like using the furnace to just burn them down to bones. Would that work?
The furnace itself is actually set with racks specifically to compress dust into diamonds
Oh, okay.
and various
Okay.
jewels. It is legitimately like an alchemist's forge.
Got it. Okay.
If you want to grind them up into pieces and make meat pies out of them and then compress them into a diamond. It's everything
Maybe
that you would
maybe
need to turn
later.
someone into jewels.
That's good to know.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
um. I guess the fastest way would just be to get some help and make a little pyre and burn them down to bones and then collect the bones.
Yeah, you could. Find a place outside, set a bonfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that won't get too hot to
Crack
char
'em.
the bones out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
All right.
then put them in the bone zone.
The Bone Zone. You have 4 sets of orc corpses in the Bone Zone. And that'll take up most of the night, I would say. So you guys will be able to get a long rest in. Make sure, if you haven't already, to purchase rations for the road ahead, unless you have some other way of eating on the road. They are not expensive. It's just important that you have them.
We don't have a druid, so we can't just good berry every day.
Correct. You can't have the shit berries that make you poop.
How much
Just
like
one.
climbing gear and whatnot is available in the city?
Any mundane gear you would need is here, especially with people joining back. Many of her people took all of the like climbers kits, the dungeoneer packs, all those things with them because they're all the hunters from this land. So now that they're back, many of them are looking to sell now that they don't need to like rough it in the wilderness anymore. Yeah, anything you just want to spend, feel free to. Any material goods.
Okay, do you want me to tell you all the stuff that I'm gonna buy, or should I send it to you later?
I mean, I don't care what you have on you, so long as you have the prerequisite amount of gold. Feel free to add it to your kit, and then no worries for me. I don't care to know what's in your pockets, and I don't care to track your treasure. I trust that
mean-
you're not going to cheat yourself.
I just want you to know that what you did is you just opened Pandora's box, because I made a gimmick character that's a Goliath that has every mundane item on him.
You're playing a
So-
kobold though.
I,
You're not
I
a
know,
Goliath at
but
all.
I have 20 strength.
That's fine.
I can roll a lot of shit.
Goliaths have like 18 strength sometimes. They don't have 20 every time. Overcompensating.
No, well,
Don't sell
know
yourself short there, Kobold Jones.
you know me. Would they have a healer's kit here?
Yeah, any basic kit they'll have.
All right, we Gucci.
Especially healers kits are easy for them because a lot of them are wilderness folks, so they know which herbs and medicines to pick up from the earth that make the balms and salves that you need. Salves. It's a salvation, I tell you. Yeah. Anything else you guys need to do, or are you guys ready to roll out in the morning? Bum bum bum. See
Bill
clapping of
has
hands.
Bill has detect magic, right?
Correct.
After she's done with the fun bodies,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Morgan would like to approach her and have a little convo before we leave.
Belle smells
then-
of burnt corpses as you approach.
Right.
Covered in soot
Could
and
be worse.
ash.
Could be Joan's smell.
That's true.
Hey Val, I know that you are able to kind of tell what's going on with certain magical items. Could you take a look at something for me with the least amount of questions?
Sure.
Potentially?
You can ask me any sort of
Oh. Man, Alexa's going to answer it. We don't need to know. Thanks, Alexa.
Yo.
Thanks,
She does this
Alexa.
every time. We haven't used her in months. She just keeps doing that.
Amazing.
Hi, my name's Alexa, and I'm here to tell you about your magic item.
Would you like to order that on Amazon.com?
She's like, thanks, I can tell you more about that.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I don't know what owl mask is.
I don't know if I put this on, it's
So-
gonna come off my face.
Do you want me to just let you know if it's magical, or do you want me to identify it and see if I can learn any properties of it?
I mean, if you can tell me what's going on with it, any properties or anything, that'd be awesome.
I won't ask any questions if you don't want any questions, but if I identify it, I am going to potentially learn things about it.
That's fine. I'm not concerned. I've already told you about my contact with the person that sent it, so I just want to make sure that it's not something that's going to hurt or harm or stick on my face for the rest of my life.
Take a little look and see what I can learn of it then. I will identify the mask.
Right? Your shadow looms long over the bonfire. It grows out of the side in a long, kind of hunched over creature again. Laps on or clutches onto each shoulder, leans down. You hear that raspy voice of, "Well, how interesting is this? A porcelain mask. An owl face. This owl-faced mask is curious. There should be more to it, and yet there is not. What I can see through identify is that the material it has been forged from may be done very particular sort of craftsmanship, one that is found deep within gardenous areas. The marbling is too pure, too perfect for that, but otherwise it is a adorable sort of party favor. This has been a use of the identified spell."
So I will repeat all of that to you. Sorry, it's not too much to go on, but we are headed to a deep garden of sorts.
Maybe I can find something out while we're there. Just seems so strange. I
Yeah, I wish
appreciate
I
you
could-
looking, though.
I wish I could tell you more. Generally, much like a lot of TT stuff, folks who don't want things figured out are good at hiding it from the simplest ways, too.
Figured it would have something hidden. We'll see what happens.
There definitely is something more to it. I just can't see it.
I appreciate you looking. Thank you.
I will say, sorry, identify aside, just reviewing the mask, Vel, go ahead and roll Arcana.
How about a natural 20 for a 28?
There you go. You know the inside of the mask itself is coated in a kind of pearlescent layer. While you're not sure if there is anything magical about the mask, and it doesn't seem to identify as such, you do know that typically pearlescent is not a spell component of like transmutation and things of that nature. It tends to fall into the schools of divination and illusionary effects, specifically.
So I will kind of explain that to Morgan. That generally, those sorts of spells aren't too damaging, but you've seen how bad illusions can be at TT. Putting it on could reveal something to you. I don't know. Could be a place and time sort of thing.
Yeah. Just have to figure out the rest of the puzzle here. And go from there.
Hands the mask back.
I'll wrap it back up and... Can I put it in the box?
You can if you'd like to. You just don't know.
Actually, no, let me just keep it in my bag.
Okay.
Pop it in there.
Anything else you want to do in town before we start off our journey? Everyone good? All right. Night falls, the bodies are burned. Questions and mysteries continue to unravel and move forward as well. Oh, what do we got, Celeste? See the... Oh, hold on. What do we got?
I'm sorry. I'm sure somebody asked, and my
Mhm.
brain was dazed off somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's not diamonds here that we would be able to purchase for a Revivify later, right?
In this town, no.
I didn't think so.
The vault
Just-
that was here were primarily these like minor elemental gems, which you guys have all 28 of them, I think is the total of them. They're all just minor elemental gems. Which
Okay.
I will say those of you who are insightful have a small understanding of how those elemental gems were made. It's Wayne Campbell. With that being said, you all enjoy a long night's rest after spending a little over a week in the area of Grim Village. You are given a cart. You bid fond farewell to Eli and George, as well as Preeple, and you already see at this point Corvus is up on a crutch and just waiting a few more days to be fit and ready for travel and his new mission given to him. You all summon the beetle, is I think what you said you wanted to start with. This large Karen beetle, you adjust the ropes and harness onto it and latch it forward. Bartholomew and Charles. Bartholomew is a deep set of dark red at this point. Much of his body is coated in a heavy sunburn, except for like small parts where you can see that he didn't fully rub in the sunscreen. Wearing his small breastplate and walking with his clothes on, he kind of grumbles and you hear this ow, 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 ow. Charles seems to be about a third of the size bigger, especially in the stomach area, and seems to have been mostly eating through the last week and swimming around the pool. The pair of them climb on top of the back of the Karen beetle, and speaking to the beetle itself, they begin to mush it far to the eastern area towards the Sunken Gardens and Thule itself, specifically towards the peaks. We're just about at time, but I at least want to get travel as much over with as we can. Since we are pretty much doing road adventures, I need only somebody to roll a d12 for the day's events, and then we'll roll a d12 for the night events, okay? But the assumption is that you're all going to take watch, you're all going to rest and take your days off to make sure you're not like pushing it, unless you guys wanted to like travel through the night, but I figure that's not the case. Correct me if I'm wrong. With that as well. If someone wants to roll a d12 and let me know the result, please and thank you. Oh, Celeste says, me. Happen it. What do we get?
12.
12, okay. And roll a d100 for me.
$16.
16 and a 12. Please hold while this DM refreshes. Thank you so much. We appreciate your patience. Thank you so much. We appreciate your patience. You said 16?
Yes, please.
Okay. The majority of the travel for the morning is not so bad. You guys do hear a crackling in the air, a far off distant MMLR 660 Montserrat in the morning plays kind of over the airwaves, but it's very quiet. It's almost like a church mouse trying to overhear it, especially with the interference from the peaks far here to the east. Along your journey, you start to hear a rather curious sort of song in the air. You can hear the twang of a loud kind of echoing instrument and strumming along as you all near further and closer to the peaks themselves. Coming into view as you guys first hear it, you look off and you can see in the distance a creature sat upon a number of cleared logs. There are this kind of heavy set stumps around the various area, and there is a long kind of gangly looking creature with a very heavy looking instrument sat in their lap and playing. You can continue to hear these kind of like melodic twangs from this instrument.
Well, that's nice, JJ. JJ, what is that instrument?
JJ's kind of tuning up the lute
Mhm.
as she's hearing like these twangs, and she's kind of trying to match whatever, not pitch, but tuning, whatever tuning it's in.
Okay.
But she will look to see what kind of instrument it is.
The key.
Hmm?
Trying to find the key.
I'm trying to find the key. Okay.
Thank you.
JJ, go ahead and roll performance for me as you attempt to find the key.
That's a 23, please.
A 23, please, she says. My goodness gracious, great balls of fire. See here. You hear the kind of the twang and pull of it. You look out. Are you also attempting to identify the instrument?
Yes.
All right. Here. I want to make sure I have this right here. I do apologize.
No, you're good. You'd think I would know the word key anyways, because my brother's a musician, but here we go.
No, it's quite all right. Looking ahead, you can hear it, and a lot of it sounds like a sitar, or a sitar. It's a very heavy, has a round bass, and the creature playing it seems to be a rather tall individual, even sitting, and is dressed in these kind of like long flowing robes. As you all come into view, you note that they have kind of curled horns over at either side, and they're dressed in a almost summer floral pattern for this long kind of heavy dress. And you do note the ends of their feet kicking back and forth are hooves at this point. But yes, you can see them in the distance at this juncture, and you can hear the song they're playing is this kind of like slow kind of pulling of the strings across as it makes chords.
Can I tell what kind of creature it is?
Sure. You have knowledge nature, right?
Yes.
Right. It appears to be a satyr of some sort.
Oh, it's Danny DeVito.
What? How would you know?
The hero trainer. I'm the perfect student.
Are we going to definitely cross paths with this person?
They seem to be on the path leading across the edge of the forest. They're on the most direct eastern path. There's nothing preventing you from just going wide of them, but up to you.
Up to y'all.
Yeah, let's go buy them. Let's go. Right? Maybe.
Is this one of those situations where you have to have like a bard off? Is that a thing?
You know, I'm not sure. I was just trying to catch kind of their vibe and all. But you know, it's always fun to see other musically inclined folks on the road. Just I hope they're a nice satyr. The last one we met was pretty cool. What was his name?
Yeah.
The crossbow.
He had a good vibe.
Good vibes. Yeah, super good vibes.
I thought we said that we weren't going to say that anymore.
I forget things that I promised, sorry. Can we say it now?
I don't... Alright, I guess
I don't
so.
know. When you're saying that, you're really harshing my vibe.
Oh, don't want to harsh the vibe. Shoot. Good feels. Good feels.
Good
y'all.
feels. So up to you if you guys want to cross this path or go wide of it. It's either way is fine. The beetle pulls no matter what. Ever closer.
I don't mind.
I don't mind either.
All right.
We're going closer.
All right, going closer. You see Sat legs hanging off the side of this large stump. As you approach, this sitar in their hand continues to kind of like bleed chords out of it. There's almost a grinding sound, and as you get closer, JJ, you note that they're plucking the strings with very long, kind of like clawed fingernails. And as you approach even still, Cobalt Jones, you note that in your typical experience for satyrs, they have kind of curled, almost deer-like horns. This individual, this kind of like pale-skinned individual, has a rather ornate set of horns. Looks a little bit like this. Bring that up bigger. A pair of curled horns that go down and a pair of curled horns that go over top. They're dressed again in this kind of like fanciful summer evening robe. And they are sitting upon this stump and continuing to play the sitar. JJ's, you're plucking at strings as well. Up to you guys. Your beetle begins to pass, and they seem to kind of slowly look up and softly look in your direction, but they don't seem disturbed by your presence.
JJ, I just gotta warn you, you gotta be really careful when you're trying to do a guitar battle against a sitar, because they can do microtonal keys, and it's gonna be hard to keep up.
Yep. That is very, very true.
I learned that in doctor school.
I'm sure you did. The doctor school seems to teach a whole lot about everything. Maybe that's the option to go with.
Yeah, it was the first time I got laid too.
In doctor school?
In doctor school?
They teach a lot.
Anatomy and physiology is getting weird.
Interesting. Hands-on learning, then, I suppose.
Yeah, just like the Monty Python sketch.
So
Can Celeste just wave and just you're doing a really good job. I love this song.
there, as you say this, you continue to hear this like twang and these soft kind of like subtle chords, almost like it almost comes across as like a higher pitched harp, with kind of the melody they're pulling apart. Actually, I wonder if I can. Or you guys won't hear it either way. I could put on the track that I have set aside, but no worries there. I'll share it in the Discord. Join us in the doobly-doo. But they continue to play this song and kind of melody. As you compliment them, they kind of like slowly look up in your direction, just give you a soft nod, and continue to play. JJ, are you also playing?
Yes,
Okay.
she is going to try and play along.
Give me a performance check for this as well.
That's a 10.
10. So you start kind of like flicking and like kind of fingering a number of the keys, attempting to keep up with the melody of this. You look, and as if spurred on by you, this kind of like docile, kind of just jamming, very much going with the wind, and doesn't seem to really care a lot about what's happening. As you start to play, you see their hands speed up, and you start hearing these half notes and dancing notes, and it almost sounds as if there's more than one of them. The speed at which they're pulling notes out of this instrument seems masterful at this. You look and you fully seem to have their attention at this point as they continue to strum along on their sitar. They don't seem amused.
That is totally fine. JJ will politely bow and stop her own playing and give this person space.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to do for interaction as you hear the song being played out?
Can I just clap and kind of sway to the sound?
That's completely fine.
And Or will do the bumpkin thing and tap his foot.
Yeah, easy enough to dance along.
And then I'm gonna freestyle rap in Sylvan.
In Sylvan? What is the? I won't make you rap, but what is the theme of your rap in Sylvan?
Just how great Coble Jones is.
How
Just like
great
every
Cole-
other rap song,
All right.
every other freestyle rap song.
So yeah, you're it's a lot of what. So we're gonna hit the SoundCloud rappers anthem. All right. So your first thing is you have more money than them. The second thing is you fuck their bitch because you have to talk about that. You just got done drinking a lot of booze, a lot of liquor,
A lot of
and
lean.
a lot of lean. Your beetle, your ride is much more fly than their ride. So I think
I
that's
got
like
it lowered.
yeah. And where you're from is better than where they're from.
Yeah,
We've got to
yeah.
hit all the SoundCloud check marks.
Also, I'm iced out.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me, shockingly, an intimidation check.
Oh my god.
I will do my Battlemaster intimidation
Sure, that's fine with me.
because really I'm a rap master here.
Of course.
Battle rap master.
Battle Rap Master.
Yes.
Can JJ also give
16.
some bardic inspiration on top of this too?
Sure, why not? You were playing before you stopped. You could say you try to help out.
Yep.
So with the D8, that's 18.
18. All right. With an 18, you kind of start going in and out and kind of like going through the methods of how great you are. And you hear this kind of soft, almost very much like Born of the Forest voice echo and seem to repeat the very much like stylistic raps that you're trying to put over the songs of this, and it's following almost like a reverb effect as it continues to go forward and go through. Go ahead and give me another intimidation check as you get into your second verse.
That's 21.
21. At this point, you start to go, and their voice booms out, and you hear this kind of melodic, almost like throat singing. Very much, you can hear this kind of reverberation. They take over, and you start to hear lyrics describing how beautiful it is this time of summer, how glorious it is to fall in court, and how delightful it is to be so enlightened to meet such a fool upon the road. And they seem to kind of like spin it back a little bit. There is kind of a soft smile as you guys continue to pass by at this point. And the creature kind of slowly reaches down near the trunk of the tree, and you can see where there's nothing. There's only just the wood oak side of this stump. It splinters out, and a long bit of vine grows free from the dead tree, and a flower is produced. It's plucked, and it's flicked towards you and softly floats to you, Kobold Jones.
I guess I'll grab it.
All right. You grab onto this flower and you watch as it evaporates in your fingertips. You can see this bright, almost born dust, and as you open your hand to see what happened to the flower, you can see it slowly form in your palm, and it is a vision of this creature dancing, almost like very swaying left and to the right in the palm of your hand. It bows down in your palm and vanishes as it blows a kiss to you. In doing so, you feel almost like rebuffed in a weird way. You can feel this kind of almost blessing be bestowed upon you. And with that, you gain 22 temporary hit points.
Hell yeah.
You all pass through this afternoon fairly uneventfully otherwise. Creature vanishes from sight, and by the end of the day, you can no longer see them or hear their beautiful music. And at that point, let's go ahead and take a break. Or I'm sorry, we're going to take a stop to the episode here, not a break. We're gonna end the episode there, folks. Again, big shout out to Carlo Anrello, who has free use for a lot of their cool designs and characters. Greatly appreciate it. Been waiting to showcase some of their art. Super awesome stuff. Let's go ahead here, and we're going to find someone to raid. That is going to be it for Second Wake tonight, folks, and we will be back next Monday, right? Yeah, I don't think anything crazy is going on Monday. So we'll be back next Monday for more dungeons, maybe some dragons. Who knows? Who knows if we'll ever find a dragon in this campaign? Dragons are a big deal for my campaigns. If anyone ever says, like, Dungeons and Dragons, the hallmark of this and that, then, you know, it is what it is. Ooh, Whiskey Redeemed Homebrew. I'm excited. Send me all your stuff. You know the deal. You know the drill, guy. But yeah, let's go ahead and here we're gonna raid the Swole Initiative Network. They're super cool. They're doing the Legends of, I believe it's Shagathul, which is like this like cool, neat kind of like otherworldly campaign they've been running, which is kind of neat. I've been catching the rebroadcast, so it's kind of cool. But yeah, as always, guys, I thank you so much for sticking with us the whole night. If you watch us on YouTube, thanks. Consider liking, subscribing, ringing the bell, whatever it is. We upload everything on Tuesdays typically. But as always, I've been Kareem Zamir. You've been our level 20 characters. They've been the Seekers of Galanti. See you next time. Peace out.